with the consultant. Health is not merely the absence of diseases. It is your social, economic, physical, spiritual, and mental well-being. Just imagine you on 88.5 Super FM talking, questioning, sharing your experience, information, education, entertainment, news, instructions, advice on diabetes, high blood pressure, strokes, menopause, AIDS, pregnancy, sex.
Sex? Did you say sex?
As prescribed, take your medication, exercise, and diet. On 88.5 Super FM, tell a friend, call your neighbor. Casualty 911 is on.
Good morning, all our listeners. It's a wonderful Monday. What can I say? I guess with everything that is going on, in the country, I hope everybody is in the right frame of mind. Everybody is staying safe. Don't forget, we are all one family. We are friends. And I'm hoping that, community members, persons within our community, let us not get carried away. And, let's just do what is right, what you're supposed to do. And, keeping it healthy. Yes. So this month is Diabetes Awareness Month, World Diabetes a month or day on the 14th of November. But we have been putting so much emphasis on diabetes throughout the year and the past years. So we have always been there with you, trying to help you out under so many different activities, programs. We've had various walks. We've had various activities throughout the year to help you go through your journey as a diabetic. Now, since PBF, the performance-based finance, which I've spoken many times before, came on stream, we realized a few people were newly diagnosed. To tell you the truth, some people did not take it easy, especially our men. So I know our theme for diabetes this month is diabetes and well-being, my plate, a healthy plate. But today I want to just, kind of stray away from the my plate, a healthy plate, and I want to focus a bit on people that are newly diagnosed and how, the coping mechanisms, what can they do, what should they do, and so on. So good morning, Cabrina. Thank you for joining me. So I am so happy that, under the PBF, so many people got to know that, what health issues they had and how the early detection goes a long way. And that is our focus, early detection and prevention. So for those persons who are newly diagnosed, you could have seen it on their faces. You could have seen it when they come and get their medication. You could have seen it, in the way they look. They end up losing so much weight. They're as if they come out with a head alone. Some people took it so hard. But it's not the end of the world. It's just the beginning of a new journey, a new chapter of your life. It might not be what you expected, but you can live your normal life. And that is what, we want people to understand. It took an emotional strain on some people. And I can tell you, when they were newly diagnosed with diabetes, they had a lot on their mind. And a lot on their mind because, you know why? One, They have to now start eating better, and that is where my healthy plate comes into. They had to plan their meals better. They had to stay active. They had to start exercising now. They had to develop an exercising regime. They had to start tracking their glucose level. That means they had to get a kit. And every little morning or twice a day, they had to prick themselves to monitor, to record, their blood glucose level. And there was a lot to think about, But that is not the end of the world. It is not. It is just a temporary thing that, as time goes by, you learn to cope with it. And it looked overwhelming to some people. In speaking to some people, they were feeling like they were down, and they were drained, and they were completely overwhelmed. And today I learned a new thing. All of these things is called diabetes burnt out, because it was so much for them to handle emotionally, physically, and mentally. And let me say this, I think the men took it harder than our women. That is why I want to acknowledge our men. This month is International Men's Day, November 19th. I realize the men took it harder. They tend to, it took a toll on them. But all is not lost. All is not lost. And whether you're sad, you're angry that you're diagnosed with diabetes, you're scared, you're feeling stressed out, but you can speak about it. There are persons who have been diagnosed for years, and they can tell you what their journey is like. You can speak to your nurse about it. You can speak to your doctor about it, just to make things a little easier on you. Yeah. So that is one of the things that we need people to understand. And when they're saying, but why me? Nobody in my family has diabetes. Or my mother have it, and look at the age I get it. People say these things, or it's in the family, but I never thought I would be the one to have it. But none of my other siblings got it. All of these things are things that they will get upset, especially our men, because one of the things, when they are diagnosed with diabetes, they have to change their lifestyle. And they get upset because they really feel that is the end of the world for them. End of the world because they believe they're going to end up getting erectile dysfunction, and that is the end of the world for them. But it is not. I can guarantee you it is not. As long as you take care of yourself, you take your medication, everything will work out for you. Yes. So when you're first diagnosed and you're upset and you're angry, there are a number of things that you can do. Apart from speaking to our health professional, you can do a little research about diabetes. You can read on the topic. You can listen to testimony, the other person's testimony about diabetes. You can try your best to do what you're supposed to do. It will not be easy. It will be a challenge. Or some of you might run and take all kinds of bush medicine underneath the but at the end of the day, it's how well you deal with the issue. That's the most important thing. Yeah. So how can you empower yourself when you're newly diagnosed with diabetes? So I was reading something and it said, take a deep breath. And taking a deep breath relaxes you. Yeah. Then you take even a deeper breath. So you go in, out, and you clear your mind. If you have to take a drink of water, you take a drink of water. If you're standing up, you can sit down. You can lean back. Shake your arms loose. Work to silence yourself and take a walk. These are little things you can do. You close your eyes, you breathe in, you breathe out, you lean back, and then you relax yourself. Because at the time when they tell you that, it's not an easy thing. Yeah? Now here comes the sad part. Some of us are in denial. When the doctor tells us that, or the family nurse practitioner, when we are diagnosed, when we have done the test more than once, and it is showing that, you're diabetic, you're no longer borderline, but you're actually diabetic. Some of us might be in denial. You say, not me, I don't believe it. Where I get it from? You understand? A lot of people are in denial. When they are in denial, they tend not to take the advice of our physicians. They tend not to take the medication that is prescribed, and so on. They don't, they tend not to do anything that is actually recommended for them. But reality is that after a while, whether you like it or not, you will be showing more signs where you have no control. And that is where, sometimes you need to take heed of your actions. Some people end up drinking more. And all of these things, you understand, they tend to eat what they're not supposed to. And they will say, one more bite will not hurt. So you're diabetic and they tell you, okay, you're newly diagnosed. Limit your fruit content to maybe half a cup or 1/3 of a cup of fruits. And you eat a whole mango and you see another mango and you end up eating another mango. You understand? Or some of the complications of diabetes is poor circulation. And you lose that sensitivity in your feet. So you see the little sore and you say, it will heal. I don't need to go to the doctor. There is no reason. But you've seen it opening all the time. But why are you still in denial? And you refuse to go to the doctor. You refuse to come to a wellness center. It will heal. I've had it before. And these are the things we say. I will go to the doctor later. Later is like when you cannot walk anymore or you cannot do anything or somebody have to carry you to the vehicle or when you're in so much pain, like they say, like a gwenka point. Yeah? Because the sore is already so bad. That's why a lot of people get amputated, They always feel that it will cure, it will cure, it will cure. Or they'll always go to the doctor later. Oh, I do not have time to do it now. You have the problem. You have the problem. You end up putting extra socks in your on your feet because you're starting to feel something is wrong. That is why you're using extra socks, or you start using socks with your shoes, or you start not wearing sandals because actually but you're still in denial. And then you see, I do not have time to go to the doctor. I have so much work to do, and so on. I have places to go. I have things to do. And all of that is delaying the process because you're actually in denial. Or my diabetes is not serious. I mean, they just diagnosed me. Ça pas mi en lè mwen. You understand? Ça pas mi en lè mwen. Yo just di mwen ça. Ma même senti rien. C'est mon just di test la qui dit ça. Mon pas senti rien. All of these things are persons in denial. And that is one of the things that, people need to take heed of. And I want persons to think of all of these things because when you're and that is why we have our mental health unit. When you're newly diagnosed, there is nothing wrong in coming and speak to our mental health nurse. And yesterday I asked him that. He said he's coming to Soufre every first and third Wednesday. First and third Wednesday of every month. And that is the same time we have the men's health clinic. So that is the ideal time that you can see the mental health nurse if you're newly diagnosed with a medical condition and you feel you need to talk to somebody before you step out of the hospital to face your family, your friends, and other loved ones. So that is the ideal time. I'm not saying it's only for the men, but the women too. But I'm just saying because it's International Men's Day on the 19th of November, we're acknowledging the men a little bit more because the women are always there. And one of the things we tend not to see is the younger men. We see some of the older men, but not the younger men. And some of the younger men are diagnosed. They tend to be scarce. Yeah. The thing is that everybody goes into denial from time to time. And, after a period of time, sometimes you check yourself like they say, or you realize, oh my goodness, it's there. I'm seeing the signs. I need to start doing things. That's when you need to set goals. You need to plan and you need to move forward. Yeah. Move forward means, planning your meals, staying active, taking your medication as prescribed by your doctor. And I have a little thing about when you see you newly diagnosed and they give you your medication, speak to your pharmacist. How much do I take? How many of the metformin do I take? Is it once a day, twice a day? How often should I take it and when? Before meals, after meals? And when you say before meals, how many hours before meals or how many minutes before meals? And when you say after meals, how many minutes or hours after meals? Should I take it on an empty stomach or with food? Because you're newly diagnosed and this medication is new to your body. So you have to ensure that you take it the right way. Don't be like our diabetic patient. They take it one day in, one day out. Or when they remember. That is the ideal time to get your pill box. Yeah? And you ask your pharmacist, what if I forget to take my medication and remember later? What should I do? Do I take more than one? Like you say, I remember it in the evening, and since I forget it in the morning, should I take all four or just take the two? Yeah? You have to ask these questions. Will this new medication that I'm taking for diabetes will cause any problems with the medication that I'm taking currently? Because you might be taking another medication for another problem, another health issue. So what will happen? You speak to your doctor about it, or you speak to your pharmacist. I'm taking antibiotics, doc. What will happen if I'm taking the new medication for diabetes? Will this medication cause problems with other medication? What should I do if I have side effects? Okay. Yesterday I remember speaking to the pharmacist and I was saying, one of the things I realized with the metformin is that sometimes it gives diarrhea. And she said, well, you have to eat. Eat first, do not take it on an empty stomach. And that's one of the side effects. Yeah. So one of the things you have to be mindful of is sometimes there might be some side effects. Do you stop taking the medication completely or you come back to see the doctor? And to ensure that you continue the medication regime, let the doctor guide you. Let the pharmacist guide you. Because the medication is new to you. Don't be your own doctor and own pharmacist in that light. Because You know, that's the first time, and you want your condition to be controlled. And that's what we're asking persons to do, to control their condition after they're diagnosed. So denial is part of it. You know, some people even go into depression. They lose sleep over it. They lose their appetite. There are so many things that people go through and we don't know. And that's one of the things I always tell people. You have to be mindful as community persons what you say to people when you see somebody. Ouvin piti? Please and thanks. You understand? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Like if Cabrina tell me, I see you put on mizzy weight. You know, I'll not take that for anything. I'll not feel offended. Or Cabrina will say, hey, Louisa, what's wrong? You lose weight? What have you been doing? You know? But if Cabrina said, uvin pitu malad, that is another thing. So, these are the things you have to be mindful of. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I realize you start losing the weight. Have you been gymming? That's something Cabrina might say to me. And I said, no, Cabrina, you know, I've not been gymming. But you know, I have some health issues and it's causing me to lose the weight. Nicely said. But it's what you say and how you say it. Bon, le mwen sa mwen diabetes, ou haba mwen misi pa. Esa pa kay fe mwen ka chile pi. And especially if you're a man and a woman is saying that to you. And that's a woman you have her eyes on, not now. So you understand. Now you start thinking. And these are the things I want community members to be mindful of, especially for persons that are newly diagnosed with diabetes. That is, I'm only speaking about diabetes. It can be for another medical condition, but today the focus is on diabetes. I did not want to speak about the signs and symptoms of diabetes because we have been speaking about it for so long. We have been speaking about what you can eat, what you shouldn't eat for so long. Persons have not been adhering. The moment the doctor tells you borderline, start doing what you're supposed to do. And that is the issue. We're not doing it. We're waiting when you're actually diagnosed, and that's the time, you know, all hell break loose. I see Cabrina watching me. Cabrina, you have a question for me?
Not this moment.
Not at this moment, yeah? So, you know, friends and family members can be your biggest support sometimes. Sometimes they can be the worst, but sometimes they can be your biggest support. They can rally with you through it all. You know, they'll say, hey, somebody give me 2 Chinese cabbage. Yeah, I bring one for you. Now that they know you're there, before they wouldn't do that, but now they might just decide to drop it off for you. You know, these are the kind of support that you need. Oh, I am trying a green smoothie. Have you tried it lately? That is where my plate, a healthy plate, comes into play. I don't know what's wrong with me these days. I've not been drinking enough water. But you know what I do? I add a little lemon, a little drop of cucumber, and I end up drinking the water so well. You have to use your initiative. You have to, you know, try new things, healthy things to help you when you're diabetic. Yeah, because you're newly diagnosed. You want it under control. Don't go all out with a boom and then 2 days you lapse. You know us already. We like to start things fresh and go on. And afterwards, we end up stopping, or, it's too much for us to handle. Our salad, what do we use? Our greens. We can plant our own. And sometimes it's the simple meals that really help out. We're diabetic, we're newly diabetic, we're diagnosed, and when we're overweight, what do? Do we start exercising, keeping active, staying active, and do we eat better? So when you see somebody, you're newly diagnosed, when you see somebody eating mac and cheese, and they're eating their lasagna, and they're eating how you call these things again? Afterwards they eat their dessert, like the ice cream, the banana cake, and they have their big jug of juice. Oh my God, diabetics like juice. Their big jug of juice. Hello, that's not for you. Huh? That is just not for you. You can, but your portions has to be so small you can hardly taste it. You can drink your juice. You can, but the amount of juice you can drink compared to somebody else. It's best you just drink a glass of water, because some of the fruits already have its natural sugars. And based on the way you're taking your medication, it might just spike up your blood glucose level. Yeah? So these are the things you have to take into consideration. What you can eat in between meals, what you cannot eat. And to tell you the truth, online gives some good substitute, like your nuts. But it tells you the quantity you can eat, and that is the most important thing, your portions. Yeah, you make a salad, you sprinkle some nuts, you do some healthy foods, things you never imagined you could have prepared. That's the time, to start, trying out new things and keeping the lifestyle healthy. Not forgetting, you have to take time to sleep too. So I'm saying all of these things because one of the issues I realize when persons are newly diagnosed is the way they handle the situation. And it can be, it can be very difficult on an individual. It can be very difficult on the family and friends because of the emotion, the type of emotion that the person is going through and how they handling the situation. So having said that, I still have 20 minutes. I thought I was speaking for so long. Having said that, I want persons to, ask about our mental health unit at Sufre Hospital, and on the days they are at the various wellness center. You can always set it up with the mental health nurse, and he or she will guide you accordingly. Yeah. And also we have our field nutrition officer or our nutritionists, in other regions. Feel free to engage them. Feel free to engage them so that you can, so that they can guide you as it relates to your diet. All right. Now, I am saying all of this is because sometimes what you see on the ground is what you really need to speak about. It's not an easy journey, like I said, but taking it one day at a time. One day. Sometimes one day they're vibrant, and the moment you hear that you diagnose with a condition, it's like, oh my goodness. But You know, you can't get through it. It's not the end of the world. And I mean, so many other people are diabetic. You're not the only one. But after you diagnose, what do you do? That's the most important thing. So, having said that, I have a few announcements. Um, I have a few announcements. Oh no, before I go on, so I want to speak about a little bit about diabetes and your health. So, with diabetes, you have complications. There is your eye health, where they offer diabetic retinopathy, I think at Viewfort Wellness Center. You can always find out what days that they're offering it. They have your foot health, where we have our podiatrists at various wellness centers island-wide that comes in to help you take care of your, how to cut your nails. They do it for you. They tell you how to take care of your feet and so on. We have a heart health, of course, at our various wellness centers. We have your doctors there that will guide you. They have the EKG machine. I'm not sure what else they have as it relates to heart health, but they do take that into consideration. You have your kidney health, of course. Under the PBF, they send so many people and do the kidney function tests, and so many people, were diagnosed and, and they were guided how they should have changed their diet to improve on their kidney health. And of course, we spoke about the mental health. After you've diagnosed, what do you do? How do you take it one day at a time? Who do you speak to? And so on. And your oral health. Come in. Come into Sufer Hospital, where we have our hygienist that can take care of you. Take a look at your teeth, your tongue. Take it one day at a time. Yeah, make an appointment. The appointment might be far away, but you can always put a reminder on your phone and take some time. And again, your sexual health. As a diabetic, there are issues there. What do you do? How do you face these challenges as it relates to sexual health? For both men and women, it's not always the men. For both men and women, but men just tend to take it a little bit harder than the women. But both of them, as it relates to sexual health. So you see, being diagnosed with diabetes can take a toll on your body, and therefore you have to maintain certain things. So eye, your foot, your heart, your kidney, your mental, your oral health, your sexual health. So you can imagine all of that when you're newly diagnosed and you get to read about it. You can imagine that emotional strain on you just by thinking of all of these things. Yeah? So don't worry. Others have gone through it, and others live quite an energetic life. Likewise, you can do the same. So having said that, there are one or two announcements that I need to make. I realized I did not greet our listeners this morning. So good morning to everybody. Morning to all our listeners at Hotel Chocolat, Miss Anne and crew, agriculture section at OJ's, M&C, drugstore, the bus drivers, the market vendors, listeners from Connery's, persons at their home listening. I hope Massey Stores is locked onto Sufre FM. The last time I went into Massey Stores and they were not locked onto Sufre FM. So I had to tell them what's the meaning of this. So I'm hoping that they're locked on. Yeah. And, other persons that are there. Sherry, Jude. Oh, Sherry. Hi, morning, Sherry. So I'm just saying this so that persons can do what they're supposed to do. And I'm not advertising for Emmons here, but I realize they have the diabetic socks for diabetics. I bought one for my mom, and it was it is good because it doesn't have the seams and so on. So it is very, very good for diabetics, especially for the older persons that sleep with socks. So that is one of the reasons why I bought the diabetic socks. I do not know if they still have it in stock, but I bought it a year ago for my mom. Um, so diabetics, you can really take a look at these things and make use of all of these things. So I'm saying this to you just so that persons can be mindful of the different things that they can use, shop around, look around, to make life easier for you. Yeah. So having said that, our nurses at our wellness centers would like to remind persons. Sherry said, yes, they do have diabetic socks. So one of the things that our nurses would like to remind persons to come in to our wellness centers, although last month was breast cancer awareness month, but they're asking persons to come in to take advantage of the free mammogram that is being offered to women over the age of 40, and the breast exam, and as well as your pap smear. They're asking persons to come in and speak to your nurse about it. Let your nurse help you out. As it relates to the mammogram, we're encouraging women to do so. And for the men, they're encouraging the men to come to our men's health clinic at Sufer Hospital, where they give the voucher for the free PSC. That's the prostate test. So we're asking you to come in, especially our men. I mean, if you're over the age of 40, it doesn't hurt to do a little blood test. It goes a long way. So I am saying all of these to our bus drivers, our taxi drivers, where else we mostly have men, our fisher folks, our farmers. I'm saying this so that you can come out and to do the prostate test. It does not hurt to come in and do it. So let me see that there is a little increase as it relates to our men when it comes to our men's health clinic, especially November is seen as International Men's Day, because a lot of men keep on saying when it's women, we go all out. But now it's International Men's Day. We're trying to go even, to the extreme. We're inviting you to come in and to check for your health now. So come in, our men, and take advantage of the services that they're offering. Yeah. So having said that, I would like to say thank you so very much for Jan. I cannot pronounce her first name. For helping me with the setup. It's a pity I don't see Rome today. Kabrina for being there with me today. Ellen, I hope you're enjoying your vacation. So thank you so very much, Sufre FM, for having me. I'm really, really happy. And let me see our persons come in, utilize the services that are being offered. Some of them are actually free of charge. And, because medical care can be very, very costly. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day as well as the weekend. Yeah. Let us, like I said from the very beginning, we know this is now election season, so I'm hoping that persons can behave, persons can maintain, peace and quiet within our communities. No fuss, no fighting, like they said. And let us just see this through with zero violence, zero, backlashing among our friends, families, colleagues. Yeah, let's not make enemies out of this situation. So again, have a wonderful day and do take care.
I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through a drought. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch.